I got a feeling that you got me covered too. I got you covered. I got you covered.
Hi, everybody. This was not planned, as you could probably see, but I just wanted to come on. I didn't even couldn't put up a thumbnail, but I will do that when this is over with. But I just wanted to come on and just say thank you so much for your support. Those that came on to My Other's Keeper and supported Josh, I really, really, really appreciate it. And I just wanted to pass on my thank you to everybody that did. It meant a tremendous bit. Hi, Rebecca, and he did an absolutely great job. I hope that through that, people are going to realize two things. First of all, that nobody needs to suffer in silence. And the other thing that I want people to realize too is your genetic makeup does not make you a man. Um, I think that it's very hard when people look and see, well, because you have an extra chromosome in your body, it changes you, and it doesn't. To me, he's still a man. He feels he is a man, and it doesn't own up to it. But it comes with a lot of challenges that I think people are surprised to even know exist. I know for myself, Klinefelters, which was what we discussed on My Other's Keeper, hi Mona, is something that literally I had never heard of till last year. And the fact that he even heard it through a health textbook is to me amazing. So I really appreciate and I want to thank everybody for giving Josh the support. It wasn't an easy topic to talk about, um, but it is something that needs to be talked about because of its rarity. I hope that somebody that is dealing with what he is having to go through may hear that and feel like, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not just, you know, this is not just something that I don't have to suffer in silence. It's not just me kind of syndrome. So I really just wanted to take a moment before the lifeboat goes on a little bit to come on and say thank you all very, very much. I added something. So, as I've been kind of watching some other channels, as we now have memberships available on our channel, I've added just a little something. And of course, I was able to put Scott's music with it, so that when people either become members of the channel or they gift members of the gift memberships, there'll just be a little something that we can play to just welcome them and thank them for that. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I did kind of put that together. There is only one person that has seen it, and that is my disco brother, Jason P. But I will keep that a secret till that happens. Now, if I'm by my phone, it will be the only time when we can't, unless I can go through StreamYard. But if I'm on through StreamYard, I can put it up when people join um, the channel. So I just wanted to put there, and I did put a link in there for anybody that does want to join or gift memberships. It's just another way of supporting the channel. I also wanted to take a little bit of time to kind of, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody. Hi, Sue. Yes, that was the live with my husband. He didn't feel comfortable because of the subject matter um, to have his face shown. But I was so proud of him. Understand that he's not a talker by nature, like me, but being married to me, he has certainly learned how to talk a lot more. And I thought he did excellent. I just know him enough dealing with the kind of ADHD and the autism. Sometimes he can get distracted. So I knew how to pull him back into the conversation at hand and keep him focused there. With that being said, on Monday at 8 p.m., we are going to be doing stream with my daughter and two of her behavioral therapists. One of them was at her wedding. One was going to be, but was not able to make it. And normally, when behavioral therapists are either in a building providing services or they come into the home, when the services stop, normally there's not a continuation of that relationship. These two ladies, amongst all of the other people that came in and really helped us to try to understand Christina and keep her within the home, made a huge difference. They became like family to us, and they just continued to mentor her and stay friends with her. So I just wanted to go into a little bit of that. I think it'll be a very interesting panel. Both Meredith and Shanna are both behavioral therapists. They've both been to school. They've both had education and training and all that kind of stuff to be able to do this. So it's going to be a great panel full of information and understanding, because I really am a huge advocate for, if you can get behavioral therapists to come in the home when you're dealing with a child, especially an autistic child, because that's what I've had experience with. They often will, when we used to take Christina to place, you know, a a therapist or a counselor, a behavioral therapist, they are very much kind of, you know, they don't want to show themselves. And I think that both of these ladies will show you Christina showed herself in ways in the home where she felt comfortable, in ways that I would say this behavior is happening and they couldn't be able to see it. They saw it. This is not in any way, you know, there's behaviors Christina did and things that happened, um, that were trying to gang up on her in any way, shape, or form. That's not it. But just like my husband, who very much wanted to come on and talk about Klinefelter syndrome, which I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are going to watch that or went on there and supported us tonight. And they're going to go, I've never even heard of this. That, my daughter, very much like I, and these two ladies are giving of their time to come on to be able to have people realize that nobody needs to suffer in silence, that she has matured and grown so much. But I can tell you it is because of the services that I, as a mother, fought tooth and nail for. I fought to make sure that my daughter had every possible thing. I knew, as a mother of an autistic individual, that I was dealing with a lot of things that I did not know. If nobody understands Christina's story going into autism, Christina was diagnosed at 5 years old with onset bipolar disorder and ADHD. It was a misdiagnosis. The true diagnosis of autism didn't come until she was 11. So there was a lot of, hi DJ, there was a lot of things that happened that, if we had been educated appropriately at the age of 6, we would have said, oh, this is connected with autism. And it would have made a heck of a lot better sense than things that happened later on. And so these ladies are two ladies that we have stayed in contact. Hi, Kristen. We have also stayed in contact with some other of her behavioral therapists. But these two were very special. These were towards the end of her services. And Meredith was there for probably, I would say, at least 2 years, if not a little bit longer. So I think that it is something that should be talked about, is when behavioral therapists come within the home, it is a very different thing, and it's a very different kind of therapy than what happens outside of the home. I would like to be able to do this, and I think when it would be when Kristen has time, after she watches that, I would love for her to come in and give a reflect on how different, because I'm sure she probably doesn't deal with children, but maybe dealing with the teenagers in a counseling session, or what she's experienced behavioral therapy from taking her son to a place that does it, is so different. I think it would be a great education for her to have watched that and say, yeah, there's huge differences there. I can say from a side of, I'll never forget it. And they actually it was just something they printed off, but it meant a lot. And I think Josh has it somewhere. They gave him an award because they said, you know what, there's a lot of stepdads. There's a lot of stepdads that come into pictures where they are not the biological father. They are the stepfather, and they could really, not that they could care less, but they really don't take any interest in trying to work and trying to make this family better. And understanding all this, and you are as much of an evolved father as if you were biologically Christina's dad. And so that meant a lot. They said, we see a lot more stepfathers that we would love to see as involved as you are, not involved into the care and trying to bring this together. And so that just shows my husband's heart to have welcomed this child from the get go as, you are my daughter. There is no step. Um, and I will preface that with, at the time when Josh and I got married, Christina's biological father was not involved in her life legally and in any other shape or form since the age of about 2 years old, by his decision. And it was the wisest decision all the way around. And because of that, he could step into a place of, and I think that that would also be a discussion to be had with him, maybe, and so forth, where he was able to come in as a father. He still had to come in, not gangbusters, and kind of come in and give her time to adjust to all that, especially being autistic. But if there had been her biological father involved, he would have taken that back seat, because he would have felt like, I can't take the role of father because she already has one. That was not in place, so he was able to come in. But even our therapist said, as we were counseling, and we counseled for a year prior to Josh and I even getting married, with counselors, with Christina, to prep everything, get kind of work through things and everything, that he really encouraged us that I was the person that was setting the main disciplinarian and all that kind of stuff, and then gradually bring him into the fold, not just right away, you're married now, you know, you know, give her that transition time to happen. And it was a very, very wise counsel and wise decision. So I think this is going to do a lot. I hope to have, and I don't know. We'll do the flow. We'll see where everybody is at, to see whether this is going to have to be kind of a two-parter. It may very well have to be. I don't know. I think both of these ladies have a lot of wonderful information. Meredith has had a brother with autism. And so that's one of the reasons why I kind of wanted tonight, when we were on My Other Keeper talking about Kleinfelters, there was some things that you could pull out from an autistic standpoint. The lack of emotions, hard expressing emotions, and all that kind of stuff. Um, and you could kind of cross reference and say, yes, this is Kleinfelter's, but this is also something that is very much impactful by somebody who is dealing on the spectrum. So this is a great way for you all to not only learn, don't just look at it and say, well, it's just dealing with behavioral therapy in the home. Meredith, again, has a brother on the spectrum, very knowledgeable about autism, what their experiences with dealing with people on the spectrum. And I think that we are dealing in a world today that you are finding out that there's a lot more people that have been diagnosed with it and what you're coming into contact with on a daily basis. Where my daughter works is a grocery store. So you very well may be in a checkout line with somebody who has a high functioning autism. You need to be aware of what their symptoms are, what they're experiencing, maybe how they'll act. They may not see your social cues right. My daughter still has a very difficult time looking you dead in the eyes. She has a very difficult time doing that. So it's not something that she does very easily. And to some people, that just that little thing can mean that they're being rude, and they're not. It is something that when you are dealing with somebody on the autism spectrum, you are dealing with somebody that is having trouble looking at you in the eyes and all that kind of stuff. If you missed tonight's show, we just dropped a link for my other's keeper. Just a side note, mods, I am going to get you all a cheat sheet. I'm realizing that as Mona's dropping the link, so you guys have a cheat sheet to put on your phone with the ones that I plugged into NateBot, so it can be really easy for you guys to do, because I appreciate you dropping those links. We are about, I don't know, I have to look at my phone. We are about 64. Hi, Subi. Um, We are about 64. We are 53 away from 1K. So if there's anybody that has a page that is willing to spread our page, our anything on our community, on their community tab, I would greatly appreciate it. If you do have a page, go to the live that um yeah, I'll put it in the mods chat, and then that way for the basic ones, I think I've got a whole sheet, but you guys could have, especially the mods that have channels. Um, um, take the live that we're doing Monday and just put that in your community tab if you have a page, because I really think that if people can understand and grasp the idea of having special needs behavioral therapy to come within the home, okay, um, it is, and that's the code for the lifeboat, Mona, so you need it if you need it next time. To have behavioral therapy come in the home, it really does allow the child to be able to act as they are acting. There were things that I was trying to scream to the rooftop Christina was doing, but until they came in the home and they saw them, it was they got to know her on a different level. She was very much into, as if you go to her channel, the cosplay, she was very into acting. They would do role playing with each other. They would do plays and act out things and all this kind of stuff. They learned on a different level of who she was as an individual, and they saw who she was from a parent standpoint. And why I'm doing this tonight is because I want to give you all a little bit of insight. I can say, and I have to reach out to Between the Cracks, because I'd love to come on her channel, as she has talked about the teen industry and the troubled teen industry, where I, as a mother, literally was like, I can't do this anymore. I didn't have the support system that I now have in all this, where I could go literally. There was one lady, It was a rock for me. Her name was Lori. She's no longer here. And she didn't have any children of her own, but she was a special education teacher. And she knew exactly what I was going through. And, where she didn't know totally and understand it totally, but she had some idea. I wasn't talking a foreign language when I would sit there and go, you know, uh, when I tell you that Christina used to have 3-hour meltdowns, I'm not joking. By the time, and it's like when you think about that for any length of time, hi Doris, I want people to understand the whole concept of that. How do you, if your child has done something wrong, okay, usually on a spectrum, you're usually going to put them in timeout, whatever disciplines you choose to do, as long as it's not child abuse. Um, you know, uh, put them in timeout, take things away, all those kind of things on a normal level. They're bummed. They're not happy about it. They're not, the grounding and all that kind of stuff. They're not thrilled to death about it. But when Christina would do something wrong, it usually, most of the time, not all the time, would involve her computer crashing, okay? Or her being overwhelmed. If she was overwhelmed from whatever circumstance or situation she was going through, and her computer crashed, it could take half an hour to reset. It could take an hour to reset. It could take 3 hours to reset. By the time you're at the half an hour where you're trying to work through this child who's just inconsolable, she's just falling apart, she's throwing things, you're trying to protect her, you're trying to have all these things happen. By the time they come out of it and they're kind of coming back to themselves, you're so exhausted. Whatever happened a half an hour ago or an hour ago or an hour and a half ago, you have forgotten. Or you're just sitting there going, we're done. Okay. There's nothing much that can necessarily happen. And you're so tired that you're like, forget it. Let's go on to the next. Because there could be something happening an hour later that could throw them off. And then you're back into, you know, you know, a whole nother one. And what behavioral therapy helped us do is get those meltdowns and those computers crashing less and less and less. Almost like what we talk about on the boat, which is harm reduction. Literally less and less and less and less. And it worked. Another tremendous helpful aid was Jordan. And these two ladies saw, and they were there, and they were a part of watching Jordan work miracles for this little girl. Um, so the reason why I hope to be able to do a story, to work with Jen on it, is because I can say that as I watched her content on her channel, I could sit there and say, I'm very thankful that I did not have I did not sit here and have the ability, or not the ability, but the I didn't have to say to her to get to the point where I have to say I can't do this anymore and place her someplace where she may have not gotten the proper care, or she may have had abuse happen or whatever, because I had those ladies in the home helping me through this. They were such rocks. My faith was a rock. My mom was a huge rock. My dad didn't totally understand it, but I can tell you from a mother standpoint, especially after I got married, we took Christina out of the home that we were in, moved to the apartment, and this was a home that Christina loved. And I had, from birth, she had been raised in this, so this was hard. And what we had to do for a little bit, I love my mother for doing it, is on the weekends to just kind of keep the routine the same. My dad would have the weekend there by himself and my mom would come until she was able to kind of transition on the weekends. And my mom would come spend the weekends because I would work on Saturday with, Christina for the night on Friday nights. And, and then that way, because my husband would work on Saturdays, and then that way Christina wasn't transitioning. She was in a constant place, all the time. And that really was tremendously helpful in that sense. And when she was able to kind of transition, my mother would work during the week and be able to come home and relax, but she knew I was working full time. I was taking care of a special needs child. I had just gotten married. And when probably about 6 months or 8 months in um, of this, she would then take her back to their house, my mom and dad's house, which was just like 20 minutes away. And I would have the weekend. And I can honestly say to everyone who's never had to raise a special needs child, I would go to work on Friday. I work Saturday, probably till about 1 or 2 o'clock. Stop off. There was one of those little uh, yogurt places. I'd stop off and get a yogurt because we got fed at the auto mall prior for lunch. I'd go home and I crash for 3 hours. I get up, have dinner, and I go back to sleep for 3 more hours. I was that exhausted, and she would give me that break. So this came with a lot of support. We had respite care in place, which is another huge support. We had my parents, we had family, we had some assistance, and we had some help, and we had people willing to do what needed to get done to make sure that this child got to be the best that she could be. I think the fact that she's married, she's on her own, she's working, she's doing what she's doing has got to go back to one of the factors. Hi, Grace and Fire. One of the factors of this is the behavioral therapy that happened within the home. Not all of it, but a part of it. Hi, BN. A part of it has to do literally with the behavioral therapy that was in the home um, and so forth. That was a huge, 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 huge help. Jordan was another help. And so I really hope that this will be educational for everybody on Monday. What is autism coming from standpoints of a clinical, from these two ladies who have experience. And, Meredith has that little extra where her brother is, on the spectrum. Also, their experience with, doing behavioral therapy within the home, really how that really is is so helpful. And so I really hope people will come in and learn, because I think that we are experiencing, as time is going on, more knowledge. And what is happening is, I think you're running into people that are on the spectrum a lot more than we realize, and we need to know what those cues are, so that we're not, if somebody's not looking at you with the eyes, it's not always a sign that they're autistic, but it is one of them. And so um if knowing that, they've even said, this was a while back ago, but I remember looking at like one of the YouTube thing that came up, that there was, the police department teaches that to the officers, so they don't think that somebody's on drugs or alcohol if they're not looking them in the eyes, but it could very well be that they are on the spectrum. So these are things that people just need to know and be knowledgeable. And just like going into my other's keeper with Josh, and learning about Kleinfelters, you're probably not going to be affected by that, but it is so rare that if you have the opportunity to learn about it, then if you do happen to run into another person, or at least it gives you sympathy to realize that sometimes you don't know what somebody else is going through. But I can tell you one thing. Do I wish that the support that I have now, that we have through this channel, was there when I was raising Christina? Absolutely. It is one of the things I say very much so. Is I remember being with a dear friend of mine, sitting on her couch. Christina was in the teenage years, and we were both premier sisters, and we did premier jewelry. And I remember we were laughing over a selfie stick and trying to figure the selfie stick out. And I remember getting in my car thinking, I don't know the last time, crying. I don't know the last time I was sitting on a couch with a girlfriend laughing. Because when you are an autistic mom, not all the time, but there is a lot of people that they are very lonely because a lot of their friends don't understand this. A lot of them, I never had anybody come up to me and say, I know you have Christina and she's on the spectrum. Can we sit down so I can understand this? Nobody did that. Um, and I think that we could use more of that. So if I can make sure that at the end of the day, somebody that is, having to raise a child with any kind of special needs doesn't feel like they're sitting on that couch by themselves, then it is worth it. And I'm very thankful for these two ladies coming on Monday to talk about this. I'm thankful to my daughter for coming on and being so brave as to do what my husband did tonight. Nobody suffers in silence, and let's share our story so that it may be able to help somebody. With that being said, just a little side note, let me do the YouTuber things. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, please do. Hit that thumbs up for us. Spread this channel out. Again, we are only about 53 subs away from 1K. We do have channel memberships, which again, I've uploaded um, two little things for those that gift and ones that become channel members. So when they do, we can just give a little shout out that way. And I think you guys will like it, but I'm not going to put it out there till we get it. Not obligated. I'm just glad you all are here, and I'm thrilled to death. And I'm just thankful for you all being here and connecting. But it is an option, as well as for super chats as another option and a way of supporting this channel. Let me get off of the YouTube stuff that, I know if I don't, my sister on here, Mona, she's going to come and say, you didn't do the YouTuber stuff, right? So, and if you haven't checked out our Fall Fest or Gale Southern Living Fall Fest giveaway playlist, please go check it out. That video has had like 150 views, and I'm really happy. I'm glad everybody's enjoying it and having fun with Fall Fest. And I'm telling you, it was so fun today. I'm thinking to myself today, my daughter is married. This is her birthday month. She is grown, and yet she called us on Wednesday or Tuesday. She called my mom up and she said, can you come? I got to go to the dentist. She and I don't do very well at the dentist. I panic at the dentist. And she has several cavities that need to get filled. And she had never had a cavity filled before. And so mama had to go, and I could not go to sleep last night for nothing. I fell asleep probably about 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock. Time I finally was able to sleep, even though I was really tired. And we got up at 6. We got the coffee going on the way to where she lives, which is about an hour away. And we brought the mochas. And just a side note, I am working on some mocha merch because I know that there's people that would love to have some mocha merch, and we're in the process of doing that. And so we went, and she did wonderfully. I still have some little marks on my hands from the amount of time she squeezed them to death today. But I was so impressed with the dentist office, and I was impressed with them the first time we went, and I was even more impressed today. And I thought, I can tell you, and I'm not bashing any doctors in any kind of any kind of in Florida as far as dentists, but there was a lot of times where the dentist office either wasn't dealing with a child on the spectrum, or they would not allow you as a mom to come back to the dentist office, back with a child. And that was really difficult for Christina. We did find one dentist office that dealt with her and did her cleanings and so forth. And we used to have to go on a Saturday morning, and it used to have to be the certain hygienist, because even the voice of the hygienist could really, really impact Christina. She couldn't take the sensory of it at all. Understand, that's all sensory stuff. They're having trouble with sensory. So now you're overloading them by doing all their stuff in their mouth. And so we went. They allowed me to come back there. They had a chair. They scoot up as close as you want. And I happened to be bringing my yarn with me, cotton yarn. And I was going to sit there and crochet, which was not happening. But I just pulled out blue yarn and I handed her cotton yarn because I was going to make some more soap caddies. And I handed her the cotton yarn and let her just literally ball the cotton yarn up. She goes, "This feels like mocha." And so she took one of my yarn balls, cotton yarn. I'm like, I'm glad I brought my yarn bag. And squeezed it. And they literally told her exactly what they were going to do. They couldn't have been more gentle. They just really were just awesome from start to finish. And then, I wish I'd recorded it. I should have, but she was outside her house, and then she didn't know we were bringing Mocha with us. She didn't know if I was coming. But in order for us to bring Mocha, I had to come so that my mom, when she was in the dentist, there was somebody in the car with Mocha. And I don't do any driving. So my mom was the driver. And so she literally was at her house, and she walked out and she saw Mocha, and she was like doing a happy dance this morning. And before then, I would sit there and say, "Mocha, we're going to see your mama." And she'd go, "Where's Christina?" And she would and then eventually she started crying. But it really helped Christina before the dentist. And then when we got there after the dentist, she was able to cuddle with Mocha. And that was tremendous help. So we brought the Mochas with us. She is unfortunately not capable. She's a great emotional support dog, but a service dog, this dog will never be. And that was tremendous. And then we got home, had a snack, and we all crashed, including Mocha, for about 3 hours before we got back up. So I've literally probably in injunction maybe had like 5 hours sleep. So I'm going to be going to bed a little early tonight. The doctor, Josh has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. But it was funny because there's a certain picture of Mocha that I wanted to use for and understand the there is when staffies on a whole do something that I don't, maybe other dogs do, but I don't see it very often. They kind of tilt their head like this. They do a head tilt. And this dog does a head tilt, and it is the cutest thing in the world. So this is the picture that inspired this one right here, with her kind of tilting. Hi, Gail. Her kind of tilting her head. If one of my mods can put up Gail's link, please go out there and check the Fall Fest giveaway. There will be on the Take a Break channel shoutouts. We will be doing a channel shout out for all of the channels that are participating in Fall Fest. So for the next, right now there's 20 or 21 videos. I have to look. I haven't had a chance to today. For the next 21 days, each of the channels in the channel shout outs will literally be all of those participating, and we will be putting their channel plus their Fall Fest entry video in for the next for the next 20, how many videos will do, each one of them will get a daily shout out. So just a little side note there. Except for mine. You guys know where mine are, and I put mine up. I won't include mine in that channel shout out. They're for the Take a Break. And so Christina after the loss of Jordan. 25 so far. 25 so far. I need to go back and look at those. The and again, Gail, I will literally, the 6th is going to be end of that panel that did the fundraiser, and I'm literally going to start on the 7th and do, everybody's going to have their own individual channel shout outs, and I'll pay attention to the views so I can give the one that has the least the first one and go from there. And then each one will have an individual shout out. Anyway, that picture of Mocha, I put it out. I went into like free logo, whatever it was, to try to get somebody to help me on Facebook. Well, the free logo, all they would private message me and say, "Oh, I'll be glad to do it, and I'll charge you," because we can. Alfonso do it for us because I help him with this Saturday night things. But the problem is that he needed this picture done in a way that could make it printable, or put it on merch. And I happened to decide to just put it on Facebook and see who could help. Well, the person that ended up helping with this was a girl, one of Christina's dear friends, which after the loss of her autism service dog, Jordan, Christina got very depressed, and especially during the time of the C plus math. And there was one time, and she's told the story on My Other's Keeper, where she came to, where I got a text from this girl, and she said, "You need to go check on Christina. There's something not right." And I literally went, she said, "Now." And I literally went downstairs. She had a walkout, we had a walkout basement downstairs, and she was holding a pill bottle. I don't think she would have, but the idea was there. And I'm so grateful to this girl for alerting me, for becoming friends with me on Facebook, for feeling safe. And Christina was not happy with her right after it happened for a little bit, but she very shortly thanked her, and I did too as well. So she was able to do this for us. And so this picture in a whole means even more than somebody would have done it free on the free logo group on Facebook. So this is the picture that she ended up doing. She probably did it through the computer or whatever. And that guy's great. You can see the head tilt. So I said to Alfonso, do what you need to do. You know, uh, this is without the head tilt. And I said, we'll just play around with it and let everybody see, what looks better. But isn't that just precious? And the reason I was looking at Mocha's tribe and all this kind of stuff, and I came up with Mocha's clan, is because we are part Scottish. My grandmother was raised in Scotland. My mother was born in Scotland. So I thought of the clan being that. So he's doing that picture with just the transition part, with just the picture itself. And then we're working on Mocha's clan so that we can put that picture alone without wording. I think it stands on by its own. But that picture that she did means so much more to me than any kind of picture that would have come through, because that young girl literally saved my daughter's life. I say that without hesitation. Again, I don't think she would have, but again, if somebody's there so desperate, willing to hold a pill bottle that, if consumed, she wouldn't have most likely woken up. And she was willing to risk the friendship to make sure that Christina was still here. And she came over for her wedding from England, and flew over to participate in Christina's wedding and, be there for it. And I can honestly say, without a doubt, I was able to give this young girl a big hug and say, "You saved her life." That's what called suffering in silence. Not allowing, when something doesn't sit right with you, it's instinct, guys. We got to pay attention when something's not sitting right. And it didn't with her, and she felt comfortable enough to reach out to me. Hi, Brazy girl, how you doing? Josh was great. I totally 100% agree. And you missed it. I was telling people, and I sent it. The only person that's seen it is Mr. Jason P, my disco brother. But I did set up something so when people become when they become channel memberships, I have something so that we. Oh my goodness, Brazy! Thank you, hon. Well, see, she did. See, now we get to roll this out. So I'm excited. See, Brazy, thank you so much, sweetheart. Who's going to turn green on me today? Boy, oh boy, turning green. That was awesome. All right. I did this. I did one for those. They're pretty much the same. One for those that gifted membership and one for those that became a member. Okay? I don't think I can see it on StreamYard. StreamYard doesn't see it. Who's turning green on me? Oh, let's see. Got Susan, Misha, Starlight, PG, Homestead, Barbara, Panda, People, Places, and Perspective, Johnny P, Brojo, Sunshine, Susan. Oh, awesome. So I saw this on some other channels and I just had to do it. Y'all ready? Because we just got some disco balls thrown around this place. I'm going to take me off the screen. And just so you know, Scott did a little something in this one. I took it off one of Scott's musical things from his album that he did many odd years ago. But here we go for them disco balls that just got thrown around. Well, what do y'all think? Do you like it? I think it's a bunch of fun. And that was off of Scott's album that he did. Thank you so much, Brazy. That was off of Scott's album that he did back in the 60s. And that little part was him playing. You can hear him on the organ, and he was just playing right along. Mind you, for those that don't know, Scott is a dear friend. He's like an uncle to me. He does use his song for the intro and the outro, and he is blind. So he was never trained on how to do that. So that is for when anybody gifts a membership, we're going to throw that out there. And then when people become a member, then we're going to do this one. It's the same thing, but I'll show you the one that we're going to do when people do. But I didn't want to throw it out till we had a. So that's the other one. And the song that he ended up using was Have You Met Mrs. Jones? I thought that was so fitting. And for those that have no idea what I'm talking about, when I talk about disco balls, we have a saying on this channel. I actually found this from the girl that my dear friend in Florida. For those that don't know, this is our saying here, and everybody's adopted it and loved it. A disco ball is hundreds of pieces of broken glass put together to make a magical ball of light. You aren't broken. You're a disco ball. And it is so true. And the Blessed Disco Ball Warriors are for those that are trying to. We have the lighthouse beacons. That in itself is for just connection. It's the main one. But the Disco Ball Warriors, and we do have some merch out with the Disco Ball Warriors, those are for people that are trying to lose weight and eat healthy and so forth and so on, and eat healthy and lose weight, need that accountability. So that's why we came up with the Blessed Disco Ball Warriors. But remember, guys, you are, and we all are broken until we, and those that, you believe what you believe, but I believe, as our channel believes, that we're broken until we come in front of Christ and He puts us back together again. But if we can, have light shine on light shine on us, we can show the world. You know what? Here's light and love, and we may be broken, but you know what? We can be amazing, can't we? And we can certainly be amazing together and be amazing when we can support each other and have that connection. But we are broken. We do not need to be anything fancy to come in front of the cross. Come as we are, broken, and we come to be reborn again. And I'm a proud disco ball, y'all. I don't know about you, but I'm proud. I there's parts of me that, I'm not perfect by any stretch of the means, and I'm not until I go to heaven. But thank you again, Brazy, for those memberships. I know everybody is going to be so appreciated that got one, and I hope everybody likes my little bit of the thing. I thought about, well, when we're gifted memberships, what are we doing, right? We're throwing around more disco balls here, right? So that's what I thought I'd do. And I thought, I got to put Scott on there. But I thought, we already got the I Got You Covered. We already got the Proud of Being Me at the end. What can I throw in? And I thought, it's just that perfect song of that. And I will put that song up for you guys to hear the entire thing and understand when you hear that song. This was an album done back in the 60s. When you hear that song, there was a drummer and a guitarist and then Scott on the organ. When you hear that song, you will hear Scott come up and play through it, but then everybody's kind of spotlighted. When he goes on the organ, he is literally playing that just ad-libbed and just having fun. And just, out of all the songs on that album, I used to just be so amazed to think, this man has had no training. He can't see, yet he is just playing like unbelievable. So I'm so glad that I could put that song on that one. So I thought, there are channels out there, and I really kind of like it when people gift memberships or they become a member. There needs to be just a little something, because they are helping to support this channel. They are helping to support it. They are helping to grow it. And it helps. Every little bit does help, and it makes a difference, and then we can get better. We can just continue to get better, and I hope to see this channel just be a blessing. I hope it is, to everybody that can come in and feel like they are not sitting on that couch by themselves suffering. I wish I'd had this when I was raising Christina and had that support to just say, and I have it now. And not only that, at a time when we needed, when my aunt needed support for somebody that you didn't even know, you guys rallied around her and you loved on her and you supported her. And I was so thankful for that. And there's people in my daughter's life that are coming beside her and loving her and kind of stepping into some really special roles in her life. And you know what? I think I just blown away. I think that we can do so much more than what we are doing. I think that this platform, yes, it has its little quirks and it has its trolls that come in and want to create havoc, but it really honestly does. It has so much potential that we have to look at the good and just kind of throw the chaff and say not worth it away. And I just hope that we can just continue to grow and just be there as a support. We have the lighthouse beacons for you guys if you feel like you need that extra little bit of connection. Can't remember, I think, what word it is. Or I think it's beacons. I think I just entered the wrong one. If you guys are looking for that extra support. And then we have the Blessed Disco Ball Warriors group. It's another place to be able to get connection. It is, I think it's the one thing that we're lacking. It is beacons. So that is our Facebook group. Um, and so I would highly recommend you guys go check that out and just get in there. And it is just full of people that are looking for one thing, connection. Um, you know, I think that we have been so used to not having it. And these two ladies on Monday were a lifeline for this girl. I can't stress it enough. They were a lifeline for me as a mother of a child that I was like, I knew I didn't have the knowledge of what in the heck I was doing. And here's the problem, too, and I want to put this there, is that when you are dealing with autism, you you can go into almost like we did tonight where we looked at all the symptoms of Klinefelter's. But I think it's even more of us put out there on the spectrum of autism. I could walk into a bookstore and pull out a book of autism, and it would tell me all of the things I needed to know and what worked for that child. But when you've met one autistic individual, you've met one child with autism. And I can totally attest to that. We were moving from Florida, and we had a going away party. I had 5 autistic individuals in my house. Every one of them was different. There was a little boy, he was about 7 years old, and I'll never forget it. He was a friend of mine, son. And she said, we went to the jump place before we came here. And I said, really? Oh, that on a Saturday? Oh, no, 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 no. Never would have happened with Christina. I'd have pulled my hair out. I'd have had none of hair left by the time I got done. No, totally. It would have been done on a day when there was no kids. They were all in school. That no way would have been done on a Saturday. Before we came here, we went and took him to jump around for an hour. Christina would have walked into that home and seen the dog and gone right over. We wouldn't have seen her the rest of the time. She'd have been all over the dog. This was a dog, mind you, that was trained for autism. He wanted to help this little boy. He knew he couldn't push himself on, but it took an hour for this little boy to go over. Have you ever heard the saying from everybody, boop to snoop, right? That's exactly what this little boy did. Hi, Susie B. Okay, well, thank you very much for stopping in, and thank you for those that came over to my other's keeper and supported Josh. Boop to snoop. That's all I did. Boop to snoop, and that was done. He was done. Christina would have been all over Jordan like you can't believe. So even though there was 5 autistic individuals, they all were different. They all acted differently. They all had different things that they were struggling with. I was so thankful we found Jordan. One of the things that we did prior to getting Jordan is Christina developed something, and I don't know when exactly it was. She would sit there and go, she'd hold her breath. And I would say, child, breathe, please. And even at school, they would sit there and the kids would get irritated by her going, this noise making. She couldn't, it was totally involuntary. Once we got Jordan, I remember saying to Josh, probably about 3 months into this, she hasn't made that noise since we got Jordan. It literally stopped. I cannot tell you or remember when I noticed that it stopped, but it literally stopped. It stopped happening. It, altogether. It was just totally was done. And it took a while for them to get into a groove, but Jordan and Christina, Jordan could tell when Christina was getting overwhelmed, and he'd often just place himself, plop himself down wherever he was. I'm not going anywhere because you need your deep pressure right now. You need to be able to have some therapy. And when she would do that and place this almost 100-pound black lab on her lap, you could just see, like today when she was, before we going to the dentist and afterwards, this 100-pound black lab, and you could just see her face go, that deep pressure. And so it, for me as a mom, going in and going to a bookstore and pulling out a book and reading about autism, which I get frustrated when I read anyway, so it didn't happen very often. I would find it frustrating because I go home and try this on my daughter. Well, it wouldn't work, but it worked for this kid. Bringing the behavioral therapist in the home developed a behavioral therapy plan for Christina that worked for Christina, not for what was supposed to be an umbrella of kids. And so it was just it was the difference between me being able to be a mom that was be able to have my daughter there to literally going stir crazy. I cannot thank these two ladies amongst all of the other people that came in the home to help Christina. There was only one bad apple in the entire thing. And other than that, and I'm not going to go into detail of that entirely. I'm not going to detail. There's one bad apple in the entire thing. I cannot thank those ladies enough. It was usually ladies that would come in. I'm sure if it had been a boy, they would have done more of a male perspective. But I cannot thank those ladies enough for how they worked with Christina. And she had behavioral therapy very early on, very early in the home, all the way till we left uh, Florida when she was about 18, going on 19 till we moved up to Ohio. And I'm telling you, I missed having that help because I think there needed to be another help to transition her to an adult. Um, when she learned how to drive, we took her to occupational therapy for people that work with those on special needs, high functioning autism, that teach them how to drive. Because even as an autistic individual, you cannot be trained the same way as someone that doesn't have them. When you're driving and you are autistic, you are paying attention to everything. When you're driving, you cannot necessarily pay attention to everything. And I'm talking about, you're looking at the stoplight and the kid walking over there on the sidewalk that's perfectly safe with the dog, and you're looking over here. You need to be paying attention to the fact that there's a car in front of you, there's a stop sign. What are the main things you have to be paying attention to? And so they were able to work with her, and even my mother, brave as she was, because it wouldn't have been me, went in the car. They had a car that was set up with gas and brake on one side and gas and brake on the other, and a steering wheel on both sides. My mom was able to sit in the back and learn how to help Christina learn how to drive. And she said, I had to teach her totally different and how I had to teach you. So um, I truly feel like looking at an individual from a perspective of behavioral therapy individually, I think that there's great success. She did occupational therapy with horses, which was wonderful. I think they could be great success coming off of, right? Coming off of, going to a physical place for physical therapy or behavioral therapy. But I also think there's tremendous benefit to having them within the home. The hardest thing is I think people find it maybe to some degree uncomfortable to have people come in your home, and we all have this where I think that there becomes a part of us that sit there going, well, we want to have everybody go by and say, oh, look at that house. Everything's just fine. We have that just fine written all over. And I don't want people coming in here and seeing what I'm really having to deal with. But I can say, they were the reason why. And I'm not saying it's going to help everybody. I'm not going to say that either. The reason why my daughter's where she is today is because one of the many factors is because of behavioral therapy coming in the home. And for me, willing to allow that to happen so that my mess can be seen, so that I can literally have helped understand how to deal with it appropriately. If you go back to uh, um, one I did where I literally opened our garage as we were trying to get all the stuff out of the storage unit, and I said, here's the mess. If you look from the garage standpoint without opening it, it looks like we everything's perfect. Once you open the garage, it's full of stuff. It needed to be reorganized. So we don't often want to allow people to come in and see our mess. But sometimes people, it is so much needed. And that is from this kind of perspective, us personally. How often have we put on, I'm fine, when I'm not fine? And I want to say this a little bit, and then I'm going to get off here in a few minutes. I want to say this very much so. I have great respect for what Tommy is doing on the lifeboat. This has got to be tremendously difficult, what he is walking through, from somebody who had a father who had dementia. I have some idea. But the fact that he's willing to put it on camera, despite the everything that's going to go on with it, I have great respect. And I want him to know, if he is watching this, for those crew members that are on the boat, I want Tommy to know, you have been there to support us. We are there to support you 110%. As well as for his son and for Reese. Again, if you haven't gone through it with having a family member with dementia, then I take a moment and talk with somebody that does, and learn about it so that you can understand what that may be like for somebody that's going through that. It's far from easy. But I give him a lot of props for what he's doing and what he's willing to show the world. And that is why I'm willing to have these ladies on and say, here, show the world. Because I really do feel him. I'm, again, so proud of my husband, guys. He just rocked it out of the park tonight. He said, I'm getting so nervous. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You got this. And I'm so proud of him. Talking about something that's not very easy to talk about. But he did it, and he did it with class, and he did it with just so proud of him. And he's going to come on and share his testimony. And I just hope you can see that. Even one thing I will say about the whole thing is my husband's heart has never, ever been hardened through all that he's been through. He has got the biggest heart of anybody I know. And I am so blessed to be able to call my husband and my best friend. I'm so, so grateful. From just he just hit it out of the park. And so I hope that you'll join us Monday. I'm going tomorrow is a grocery shopping day. So I doubt I will be on. And I'm finally feeling back to my old self. I wasn't for weeks after Patty left. I'm finally starting to feel like I'm getting back to me. Thank goodness, right? And I think, Bracy, I'll be able to add the fall leaves to the the thing too, so I'll be able to put that up. I have to check. But I'm going to go to the Dollar Tree and just get a piece of, they have, sometimes they have wood cutouts and stuff. So I can show you guys paint pouring on a little bit larger scale than the little tiny things. And I need to get some wire so that I can put the earrings on so that when we paint pour, they can hang in a certain way. So before it gets too cold outside, I think Saturday we will do kind of like a paint thing. I need to get the earrings started to be painted for the show coming up in November. So I will do that tomorrow. I'm going to go to, he's got a doctor's appointment. We're going to go to the Sam's Club with my mom, and then I'll come home and crash. And I get stuff to get uploaded to the channel. That is our next thing, is to get the Bible verses and the shorts and all that done all the way to the end of the year. So if you have a channel, please take a time to go and check out, or if you can share our channel out, it would be gratefully appreciated. I'm going to put the Fall Fest on Gail's Southern Living, the Fall Fest official playlist. If you are in the United States, we are participating in Fall Fest. They do also have a Fall Fest for Canada. We are participating in the Fall Fest. There's 25 videos up, and you have the opportunity of entering them. There will be those channels that are participating in those channels that are participating in semifinalists. Those channels will mail out the semifinalist winners. Then those names will go over to Gail. Somebody is going to win grand prize of all of the channels that are participating. Right now there's 25. I think she said there'll be a total of around 40. And so that'll be an awesome way for you to connect with channels, meet new connections, win some prizes possibly. And we are blessed to participate in it. And we will be probably participating in it next year as well. But go check out our video. I think we did a great video. And I can tell you one thing, thank to my daughter, because I got learned how to edit, or what was it? I learned how to do some editing through this young lady, and I think it has served me well. So this is our Fall Fest, the Blessed2Crochet Fall Fest giveaway video, so you all can check that out. And I thank you again, Brazy Girl, for the memberships. Great way to support channels is by gifting memberships as well. And if you can't do memberships and super chats and so forth, go watch their content. That will tremendously help. We're really pushing for the 4,000 watch hours by the end of, we have until January. We're going to get it. I have every confidence. I got people in my crew, right? And I'm greatly appreciated. So go check out our merch store. We got merch on there. We're going to get some Mocha merch up. And I thank you all so much. You guys are awesome. Hi, Chris. How are you? Yeah, we've entered in. It was 25. The last time I looked, there was like 19. Oh, and one other thing I want to say. If you have commented on our Fall Fest giveaway, because I just got to put this little side note in here. If you have commented on our Fall Fest giveaway, because once you say giveaway, once Blessed2Crochet starts commenting on every comment, it sends these little people out that go, ooh, there's a giveaway. And it's not that hard to do, guys. We do it when we do the channel shout outs. They take their picture, they save it, they go and make a channel with their picture, and they maybe do bless BLEZZED 2Crochet, and they say that you won something when you haven't. So because of that, we cannot comment on any of the comments in the playlist. You really need to make sure that at the end of our video, and most of them throughout a video have a special word, a special phrase, make sure that you have it correct. If we see any of the comments that have been put in incorrectly, we go under what you have seen, Blessing Through Connection, which is our other channel, and we put a comment saying, this is Kathy, this is Mary, please check your comment, please rewatch the video because you have the word incorrect. It allows us to know as the channel that you have watched the video in its entirety. It also is the word we're going to use to put in the YouTube random comment picker. So for instance, for the birthday video, right, we use the word connection. It was put on the screen in our birthday giveaway back in June. People put connected, connection, ILSP, connections with an S. And so when we take the word we're using for the fall fest and we put that in the birthday, in the YouTube random comment picker, if it is not exactly right, any of the comments that don't have that word in it are not going to be picked up. So we've gone back in each of the comments under Blessing Through Connection, and those people that have channels that have an email, I've emailed them and said, you need to go back and check your word, because I would hate to have that, right? Where they've put in the word and they're off by a letter. I hate that. And so but there's some channels that of course are not channels and they don't have an email that I can email them saying, yeah, I need to go back and watch the video because you have it wrong. And so just make sure that when you're watching these videos, or if you've commented on our video, and again, if you have, and the name is wrong, then the name of if the word is wrong, we've gone underneath bless that comment under Blessing Through Connection and put go back and watch the video. If you don't see that, then you're good. And that's all I'm going to say without saying a word. But again, just really make sure that you are watching it. And we tried to make it very clear, written out, the word, that needed to be in, but we know how autocorrect gets and everything like that. So just be very careful when you're going through to make sure that the word that's on the screen is the word that gets in your comment. Otherwise, we can't help it if they've watched the video, the word's on the screen, and they go and they put the word wrong, and we've commented to let them know they need to go back and check, and they don't. There's nothing we can do, especially if they don't have an email. There's nothing we can do. There are a couple people that did it. We were able to reach out to them, and they fixed their comment, and they're fine. But there are still a couple on there that have not. And again, I can't chase them. All I can do is put Blessing Through Connection and say, go back and check your word. If they don't get the alert, go check the comment and correct it. There's not much I can do. I'm trying, guys. But anyway, so far, there's just a few, but I'm just putting that as a side note. Just make sure that you have really checked the word and made sure that it was correct, so that that when they do the random comment picker, you have the eligibility to be participating. If you put a comment in and you put the correct word, then you're good to go. So that's my little note. But again, I love the new thing. For those people stepping on in, we'll play this one more time. Thank you all to all the mods that are always here, that are just great help to keep this place safe and well. And thank you again for all of our members. We'll play this one more time just for our members, because I just did it today and it is really cute. So again, thank you to the members that support this channel. I'm realizing that I need to do one more, And that's one that I need to say thank you for being a member. So I need to do one that says thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for throwing those disco balls around and gifting the memberships. And then I need to say thank you for being a disco ball. So I need to do one more, and I'll do that so that we can just thank our members with each show. Thank you for being awesome disco balls. You got to rock it. And those that don't know what the disco ball saying is, just remember this one more time on the way out. I know I'm doing Minnesota goodbyes. Disco ball is 100 pieces of broken glass put together to make a magical ball of light. You ain't broken. You are a disco ball. Let's rock them disco balls. That's why we chose them for our membership badge. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your support on My Other's Keeper with my husband. We hope to see you back on Monday. I will be back on, try to come on Saturday, and we'll do a little paint pour, give you an idea of what that is like and what that looks like. I'm going to go get my little tail end ready for bed and go to bed because this girl is tired. And it looks like my computer's had enough. It's sitting there going, no, we don't want to do this the way I want to do it. One of these days, I'm telling you, one of these days I will have the funds to be able to hand my son money and say, here, make me a computer. Because he does all that stuff wonderfully. Hi, Michael's Adventures. How are you? So again, thank you all for your support tremendously overall for this channel. We are so close to that 1,000. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Sandy, do you know if there's a boat tonight or no? Maybe because Tommy did it. Yeah, thank you. That 3 hours sleep in the morning and then 3 hours. My body doesn't do well. I'm waiting to see is Sandy, is there a boat tonight or no? Because I'll send you people over there if there is. Let me look. Let's see. Let's see if there's a boat. Let's see. Oh, he is. So I'm going to send you all over if you want to go to, because there's a boat happening with the lifeboat. So I will be heading into that because I'm one of the mods for that. So if you all want to, you can go. We'll send you right over here, the lifeboat. Awesome place. And he is doing a live right now, Mr. Tommy the Admiral. So if you all want to, go check that out next. Go give them the support. It's why we're sitting here, guys. It's because, Tommy said, if you got something to say, turn on that big red button, and we did. So have a great night. I will not be on tomorrow, but Saturday we'll do some painting, and please come back Monday. I think it's going to be a great show on Monday. I'm looking forward to seeing those ladies. Great friendships that were built, and I was so blessed to have them in our lives. Of course, I could see my kid. Works both ways, doesn't it? Stay connected, you all, and we got you covered, and we're going to have Scott take us out. Be proud of being yourself. There's only one you. Rest of everybody else is taken. Stay connected, and we got you covered, guys. And thank you for having us covered. Bye-bye. Have a great night.
So proud of